This is the book of Second Exodus, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the earth which he made. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Kahalo La Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone. Rule Web been a great example to his younger brothers in the truth. And peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. Lord, with this edifying lesson. And this another edition of Measured Out of Time Diligently. And we're going to get into another one of these videos. And this a video from Jason A. And I had the copyright disclaimer. This is for educational purposes only. No monetary gain is being um nothing monetarily is being gained. The Fair Use Act. So I'm gonna use this video and do commentary on it. And what the title of his video is: the Mark of the Beast System being rolled out. So we're gonna get into it, and the Lord willing, this edifying lesson. You know. And this guy know what the beast system is, man. You know, which is the image of the beast. The beast system, the image of the beast is them coming with that one world order. You know, the mark, and it's gonna be an actual mark that you're gonna have to receive in that one world order that they getting ready to roll out. To be a partaker of that system. So let's get into this lesson, Lord, when this edifying, and um, we'll be on to the next one.
About ID cards, because we've been hearing from senior members of the government in the last few days saying that they are supporting the idea of introducing them. Let's have a listen to the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary.
I'm determined to stop people making that crossing across the channel and to get people out of our hotels. And therefore I am looking at ID cards or ID, digital ID, because we do need...
Yeah, and digital ID, they saying ID cards, but they really ID cards. Okay, shit, everybody got ID card. ID card is what? Your fucking driver license. They don't want no damn ID card. No, they want everybody to receive that mark, man. Anybody can make a fake ID card, forge all that bullshit, but you can't fake that digital mark that's registered to you only. With all your information on it, to where your IDs and your bank card, all that should be obsolete. Why? Because they have that chip or that mark that's soon gonna be implemented. They have all your information uh, stored on it, and it's in a database. They New World Order system, they database, they Internet of Things database, and it's in the cloud, so to speak. And that system already here. When you you look into all your shit, your phones and all your, they ask for your numbers and all these different things, tying everything together. These people know who you are. You can make fake accounts and shit, but if you using uh, uh, different what it is, different email addresses and all this shit, but you still using your phone, which will link your phone to those accounts or whatever device you use and anybody use, it'll link it to those accounts, and they tracking all this shit and they storing it all. You know, this new technology, how all this shit is building up that database, but the perfecting of it is them just storing everything on that C hill. You won't be able to get on YouTube and Facebook and all that shit. No, you going and if you look at how Facebook all that shit is, it's all linked to your Google, your phone number, your email address, all that shit linked. If you forget your email address, you can put your phone number in. If you forget your phone number, you can put your email or whatever. You got all these different things that's tied in together. Just like and that's what they ultimately gonna do. You if you don't have that C hip, you ain't gonna be able to access, and which they gonna go into it somewhat in this video. You ain't gonna be able to access those different things if you ain't got that ID, that digital ID. You know. But let's get this real quick. This the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, in verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he shall say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the table, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And the vision is speaking now. You know, the prophecies that the Lord warned us of, they all of them speaking. You know, all of them speaking from dreams and visions. Lord pouring out his spirit to wars and rumors of wars, famine and pestilence, civil unrest, chaos, the love of many waxing cold. You know, all these things are happening. Iniquity abound, love of many waxing cold. People getting worse and worse. Violence in the earth, just like it was during the time of Noah. It's getting, hey, the Lord getting ready to return. The ICBMs, the missiles, them arrows that fly from one end of the earth to the other. That ain't talking about no actual arrows. Them the missiles, man. And the threat of war is is readily used throughout. They always talking about nukes and showcasing missiles and missile parades and all this different weaponry that they create. The chariots of the Lord showing themselves. You know, so the vision is speaking, and what's the ultimate theme? This MOTB, Revelation 13 and 16. That's one of the most important prophecies. Why? Because if you Israelites out there, you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those who are scattered amongst the other nations, look like the other nations, but are actual Israelites, you as well, you receive of that mark, you're going to be put to death, man. Ain't no repenting from that. You can repent from anything else you doing, but if you receive that mark, your ass is done, man. And that's what we are here to warn our people of, that this wicked system that's being set up, the wicked being in rulership, who you are. We let you know who you are, telling you what the name of the Lord is and how to escape these things. That's our job in this time that we living in hopes that through, we prisoners of hope that, hey, in us doing what we doing, we be delivered from what's finna come to the earth, you know.
To look at the pull factors.
We have got to deal not just with disrupting the trade in people that is bringing people across the channel, but we've also got to deal with some of the reasons why they're getting in the boat in the first place, looking to come to the UK. And to our mind, digital ID has a role to play here.
So, Lucy, are you in favour of this idea?
Absolutely not. I think it's a slippery slope, obviously, and I think, to coat it in the narrative that it's supposed to, help with immigration and help with illegal immigration is just farcical. I think it's something that is being wrapped around as a narrative to try and get people who originally didn't like it to accept.
I need $100. Guess I'll just rot until payday. No way. Just download Earnin. Check this out. It's money you've earned.
It's quite ironic. I remember mainly talking about this 2 or 3 years ago about how, well, you can see the government doing this at some point, whether it's to do with net zero, whether it's to do with immigration. And many of us were accused of being conspiracy theorists for suggesting this. And here we are, where this is now on the table.
Keir Starmer's government is considering introducing digital ID, yes, digital ID, for every person in the United Kingdom because of, wait for it, illegal immigrants. Yes, the vanguard that they're going to use to bring...
Yeah, and if you think they doing this in the UK, you think it ain't gonna come here to America? It's gonna come here, man. It's gonna be all over the earth. Matter of fact, let's grab that. this mandatory ID cards, a digital ID, which is gonna be that MOTB. You know, it may start off not the MOTB at first, but eventually they gon' which I believe they next move if they do it, it's gonna be they gonna come straight with you. You gotta come get your digital ID. You know, the no more paper currency. Everything is going digital. Come receive your digital ID and your funds that you have in the bank will be transferred, and that's the only way you can use the money you got in the bank if you receive your ID. You know, the money you have, come turn it in so we can transfer it to digital currency, or you have this many amount of days to do it, or that money will be obsolete. You know what I'm saying? They get to doing shit like that, and people gonna fear and gonna be tried. But let's get that, because this what's finna go down is gonna come upon all the world. Oh, man. This the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 10. And it reads, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, which is the hopefully elect. You know, the elect, the only ones going to keep the word of the Lord patient. I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Yeah, so the hour of temptation, which is synonymous with the enforcing, you know, causing all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive that mark. That's the hour of temptation. That's the ultimate temptation that's going to come upon the earth. You being faced with that mark, you gonna take that mark, you know, or you gonna forsake this current world. You know, that's why the scriptures speak about, just quoting it, he that uh, try to save his life gonna lose it, but he that loses life for my sake shall find it. Roughly paraphrase. Because we're gonna be excommunicated from society when this thing is pushed, you know. And those who take it, they're gonna be able to mingle and mix throughout the earth and continue on with their life. The scriptures speak about how they're gonna be eating, drinking, and marrying and giving in marriage, all the way to the day of the Lord come upon these people, man. And all hell gonna break loose. But that's one of Esau MO, order FKO. They want to bring order out of the chaos that they finna cause, and that order that they gonna bring out of the chaos is gonna be what? The MOTV. Smart cities and all this old crazy shit. They ain't gonna need dollars in smart cities. You barely need money, actual paper dollars nowadays. You can keep everything on your card, man. You keep it's already digital, man. You know, most people keep all their money in the bank. Most people keep all their money on cards and shit, and they may get a couple dollars here and there. All your bills you pay online. Everything you do is online.
And digital ID, so that everything you ever do can all be centralised into one place owned by the government, is the fact that people are getting on boats and coming across the channel. Now, there's always the option of stopping the boats or turning them back like we did here in Australia, but Sir Keir Starmer says, no, we're going to look into this digital ID because apparently there are too many of these illegal migrants going for jobs and it's impossible to tell whether they are illegal migrants or not. So you must have a digital ID which, according to the Times of London, would allow you to prove eligibility to work, it would allow you to pay bills, it would allow you to vote online.
I'm gonna cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, receive mark in their right hand. If you don't get it, you ain't gonna be able to what to say. Matter of fact, let's get it. I'm sitting right here on it. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. It say, and he calls all, both small, great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or save. So like you. that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Yeah, and it's ultimately they just saying digital ID, but they ain't telling you what the fuck the digital ID is. They've been throwing that digital ID around for a long time now, but what is it? What the fuck is digital ID? You know? What is a digital ID? But I asked Chat GBT a question and we'll get into it in a second. But let's let this video get more some more.
It would allow you to sign contracts, allow you to shop. I mean, are we talking about you're going to need a digital ID to go into a shop now and to access health information? This is a one-stop shop for the government to have total oversight and total control of every...
Ain't that what Alex Russo said? Aaron Russo said total control. I mean, Alex Jones said total control, but Aaron Russo explaining what was told him by one of those wicked elite who they say don't exist. Aaron, Nick Rockefeller, who was trying to, who got close to Aaron Russo, and he was, you know, you know how those elite do when they find somebody who they feel like they can manipulate and try to get the sell out and join the opposite side, and Aaron Russo wasn't with it, man. You know. And in that interview he did with Alex Jones, he was saying that Nick Rockefeller was like, why you care about these people? Just focus on you and your family, man. Why you care about these people? And that's what a lot of these rich people who rich today, what they've done. They sold their souls and they don't care about average people. They don't care about the people, man. All they did, they sell out and they get straight and get all this money and riches and wealth and, you know, fame and shit. And they just take care of their family, and that's all they can take care of. Or they gonna get that, you know, motherfucker gonna pull up on them. And you can't be doing this in this neighborhood. You can't be, nah, that ain't, you made an agreement, you know?
thing you do in your life, and they're going to try and get it passed by saying, well, we need it to combat illegal migrants.
Surely that is just an excuse.
He speaks on it domestically, he speaks on it globally. His reasoning, pretty honest in fact, is that, yeah, it does mean you surrender a little bit of privacy, but we're a global world and there's no other way than going forward, and if you want to go forward, we have to work with new technology. That seems to be the thinking here, and that's pretty...
That, he said we gotta work with new what? Technology. They go to show you he ain't talking about no fucking, it ain't, the digital ID ain't no card. They talking about some kind of technology. They constantly keep, you know, I'm gonna ask chat, what is the digital? Well, that's what I asked, and they ain't giving you no. The digital ID is this, you know. I think I did. I think that's what I asked. What is digital ID?
much the line that most other countries that support this will give. We're not quite hearing that from the Prime Minister, though.
If the deal's no good, I'm blaming you, Scott. It's a great honor. This agreement will also help America and our British allies dominate the future of artificial intelligence. You need the energy. You have to have the energy. That's one thing I learned very quickly. They need a lot of electricity. In the United States, you need double what we have right now just to maintain that fight. We're right now, and I want to say, leading China and the world by a lot in AI, a lot. But we're committed to ensuring that you have secure and reliable sources of American AI and quantum technology. We intend to always be the UK's strongest, closest, and most trusted business partner. Very important to us. The relationship is very important. Again, I want to thank the Prime Minister. He worked very hard.
Yeah, and that ain't gonna be the case because the scriptures speak about thy mother gonna be so confounded with the Brexit. You know, just was saying that the newscaster Brexit something. The white lady who said she absolutely not with the shit. You know, These nations gonna hate the whore. You know, these nations go Trump. You know, America. I say America because some could happen to Trump or somebody else getting there. But we see Trump carrying this thing out. Ain't gonna be no another president. So we ain't seeing past another 10 years here, 20 years here. Nah, cause we hear another 20 years gonna be another president. Trump in his 70s, man. Down to 80 probably. You know what I'm saying? Shit, another 20 years. That man gonna be dead and gone, so we gonna have another president. You know?
And getting this deal done. This is long in the making. They've been talking about it for a long time, and we got it done. And it's a real honor to be with you, and thank you very much.
All the units is 4071, 4071 to 211 just occurred, New Jersey and Savannah, New Jersey and Savannah.
Thank you.
I think it's just a way for policymakers to consolidate data on the general population and consolidate and centralize data to make it easier for them to create new policy. And I think ultimately it undermines our civil rights. And I think everybody who's watching politics live right now, I think they should really consider the detrimental impacts that ID cards could have on their freedom.
Then that is a potentially big and useful thing, ostensibly to tackle crime, but it begs the question about our civil liberties, and I think that is a very, very big question.
Yeah, and it's also a valid question as well. And you know, we know in terms of, you know, it's okay. All right, we might have a bit of an iffy government at the moment. I don't think they're, you know, intent on. Well, I was about to say putting us in prison for hurty words. Maybe they are intent on that, but I don't think, you know, I don't think their intention is an nefarious one. I think it's a rather simplistic sort of maybe slightly left-wing one, although I'm pretty sure the Tories would be having the same debate on this at the moment. But of course, when you're legislating, you're thinking about policies that come in this respect, Charles. It's what a future government might do with it, and that, I suppose, is a reasonable a reasonable tentacle for debate.
Yes, clearly. I mean, we don't want to be in a situation. I mean, if you look at the way in which the Chinese operate with surveillance of virtually the entire population in one way or another, virtually to the point, as you joked earlier, about walking out of a room and having a chip in your hand, is it's not far from that.
Having a what in your hand? A digital ID in your hand? What he said?
Surveillance of virtually the entire population in one way or another, virtually to the point, as you joked earlier, about walking out of a room and having a chip in your hand, is it's not far from that in China, I think. And so therefore, you know,
yeah, in China, you know, Trump was saying that America is far than China and artificial. No, the fuck it ain't, man. You know, but China, you know, China on their way to that. They already got the social credit score, you know, system set up. And you lose points and you get stripped of goodies, so to speak, dealing with the government. If you misbehave, you go against them. That's the same. That's what the one world order gonna consist of: social credit score, you know, di- digital IDs. Because China ain't forcing people to get to see here, you know. But the time coming where they are gonna push this thing all over the earth, man. From Russia to America to Africa, certain places in Africa, you know, that's first world countries. Because Africa is full of countries, you know, from Europe to South and Central America, man, and Canada as well. It's gonna be a worldwide thing. If you want to continue in the in this system, you're gonna have to each country gonna have to push that shit on their people, or they gonna be cut off. You know, dismantled, suffer collapse. You know, gonna be kicked out of the world's economy. You ain't gonna be able to sell your goods and do business with other countries because you gonna have to have them mark. You're gonna have to get down with the program. You're gonna have to do that. Them devils. It's a famous quote from one of them devils. He say, "Give me control of a nation's resources." And I don't give a fuck who make the laws, man. Why? Because if I control your resource, I control your money. If I say do this, you gonna do it. So I don't care who make the laws. Anybody can make the laws because the laws gonna be what they want them to be. Why? Because they control the money.
It is a slippery slope, and you can only make a decision like this with a big consensus, and it wasn't in the manifesto. So
Yeah.
you know, is it a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that they've lost the initiative on migration?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's exactly.
And this shit ain't got nothing to do with migration. These just different excuses that they use, and they using different excuses such as migration and different things of that nature to crack down on people, to take away different so-called freedoms that you think you have. But that's them using that, give me control of a nation's resources. I don't give a fuck who make the law. Why? Because they get ready to go with they move, man. Why? Because they know that the devil is coming down, having great wrath for Revelation 12:12. Having great wrath because he knoweth that he have but a short time. You know? And that's these elite international bankers, they making these countries bend and fold to what they want in the earth. And ultimately, this is what the Lord wants. The MOTB, Revelation 16 and 13, is an indicator who with the Lord and who ain't with the Lord. So it's the Lordship at the end of the day. It's the Lord separator from those who are with him and those who are not with him.
Charles, great to have you on with us, sir. Thank you. Charles Hymas is the Home Affairs editor over there at the Telegraph. Thank you to him. James Melville, social and political commentator, friend of the show as well. James, good afternoon to you. Look, I know, like me, we're big fans of Keir Starmer. You know, he's a top bloke. He's got it all. He's got it all. Is he there? Has he got it all sorted out? He knows what he's doing. I don't think he's with us. Is he with us? Oh, okay. James, are you with us? Hi.
I'm here.
Hello. Sorry, you weren't. No, nobody put you up on the screen, so I couldn't see you. I was assuming you lagged off somewhere. Big supporter of Starmer, of course. I know you are, and you love all of his work and his greatest hits. And this is just another one. I'm sure you're going to tell me it's splendid stuff. Bring it on.
Yeah, it's another example of government overreach. I think there's a number of problems here. First of all, how is this going to solve the problem? You know, it seems to me, again, it's a bit of deflection from Starmer and the government to say, okay, we've got a problem, there's the reaction, and this is our solution under the auspice of safety and convenience.
Yeah, and that's why they're going to cause all hell to break loose. You know, eventually this fucking monetary system is going to crash. The dollar, fiat currency, that shit going to crash. And that's gonna bring a lot of chaos that they want. Hyperinflation, all that shit coming, man. Bad times are coming. It's an evil time we living in. People playing and bullshitting, laughing and joking. You got Israelites who mocking the truth of the scriptures and what the Lord given to the men of the Lord to tell, warn the people of. You know, saying that the MOTB is everything but what it is. You know. It's this, it's that. It ain't no chip, but it is the CHI to the P. That's some dermal device, man. You know? That you can store medical records on. You can pay for things. What are they inserted in your fucking hand, man? You know, right or left. And what else they got to go with it? The brain see here. You can speak different languages and, you know, play games with your mind and do all these different things. You know?
Words and mantras of most authoritarian governments in history. You know, we've seen this playbook before. I mean, we've talked about this even in COVID. There has actually been a form of digital ID, universal digital ID, before, when we moved towards vaccine passports. So we have gone through this drill before, but there's other aspects that are a problem with this. And I think a conversation that needs to be had when we're talking about digital ID is about what exactly is the social contract between government and also the public. They're supposed to be working for us. You know, we pay their wages, and this sort of thing It seems to me another example of government overreach, whereby they are deciding measures that weren't in their manifesto that have profound implications in the future in terms of not just our privacy, civil liberties, but also where does the data, in whatever form it goes, where does it end up? Do we end up with data harvesting? Do we have privacy of information? And ultimately, what is the objective in terms of the thing that they're saying they're going to try and fix? Illegal migration. And it does pose questions about how far you take this, bearing in mind we have gone through this before with vaccine.
Why is everyone obsessed with digital currency and how to mine it? What's this magic that turns
passports?
There seems to be a constant push to try and get this through the door, and I'm just wondering why there is this constant push, because we've seen that this sort of collection of data and the centralization of data, I think, is a defense folly. I think having all of our eggs in one basket, having all of our, medical data, all of our financial data, this opens up a world of discrimination for the ordinary person.
Yeah, because it's to control you, and they gonna put it all on that little small device. And we know that the scriptures say this, man. It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 12 and verse 4. It say, uh, not Jeremiah, Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4 say, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words of the book, seal, shut up the words, seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. In all ways, knowledge will be increased in all ways, shape, forms, and fashion. Especially in the times we living in. Knowledge is being increased. Our knowledge of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is being increased. Knowledge of these scriptures into its perfection. And the knowledge on the left hand side is being increased. Esau mastering this technology, his spiritual power on the left hand side. With all this different technology and AI and you know all those different things, Esau is mastering those things. Going way back, Esau been mastering shit. Esau been the chip been created. This ain't nothing that they created last year, man. No, they've been playing with the C hip for decades now, putting in their animals, tracking. That's the thing you have to do when you register your animal. How do I know? Because I got a citation recently about my dog, a warning, so to speak, and what they said, what they say, that all dogs got to be registered with the city or registered with like a little tag, microchip. You know, took up the register, or you can pay to get a microchip. And if you have a dog that's microchipped or any pet that's microchipped and you lose it, they can track it down, man, if they wanted to, or if it ever pop up at any vet, they can run the chip, and your information gonna pop up. This dog belong to such and such address. The pet's address is 5524. You know, Johnson's Alley or Johnson Lane or some crazy shit, you know, just a street name, whatever. It's gonna come back all to you just by them reading that seal.
The mandatory section, I think this is something that won't be mandatory. It will be increasingly enforced, like COVID.
Yeah, and it's gonna be enforced by means of you ain't gonna be able to buy and sell. You ain't gonna be able to partake in society, just like during COVID, like they speaking about during COVID. What if you ain't had it, you get fired? You know, and the average everyday American citizen was begging for normalcy. Willing to do anything for things to go back to normal, whether games, they can watch football and gather and cook out. During COVID, it was a that was a era change. You know what I'm saying? 2020 was an era change because people was stationed there. People wasn't hanging around motherfuckers and shit like that. People wasn't gathering together and nah, because they were scared.
Passports that was tried to get through the last government, and I think that's what will happen here. I'm worried about it.
And ultimately, what will the government do with this? Will it just be focused on one issue? I doubt that very much. It could then mission creep into other aspects of the loss of privacy and possibly other things bolted onto it. Where does it actually stop? And as you pointed out, what happens with future governments? Will this be ditched? Will other things be carrying on in terms of...
Yeah, and ain't no future governments after this. You devils finna go down. You know? America, Britain, UK. Goddamn, I think that's the same thing. But Australia and Canada and all these, China, Russia, all this shit this is it, man. All the hills and mountains. Ain't no another government coming after this, but it is a government coming. I lied. The government of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know? That's the government that's coming. Lord getting ready to set up a kingdom that shall not be left to other people, neither shall it be destroyed.
digital ID? And it is a bit of a concern, I think, that 80% of people would welcome a form of universal digital ID.
I think the first debate
And they say 80% of people will welcome a form of digital ID. And he absolutely correct, man, because when they get to cracking down and saying, oh, well, if you don't receive this C-HIP, then guess what? All the money you have is going to be lost. You ain't gonna be able to pay your bills and pay the note on that new car you just got or that house you got. And you got 5 kids and a wife to take care of. How you gonna feed them? They ain't gonna lay you, strap you down on the bed and stick nothing in you, man. That ain't how they gonna enforce it. They gonna cause you to receive it by taking away the things of this world. You know, the joy of life of this world. Being able to pay your bills and go to the store and spend your money, your hard-earned money, and just do the things of this world. You ain't gonna be able to get DoorDash to you, and you ain't gonna be able to do none of that. You're gonna face eviction and being outcast and ostracized, so to speak.
did about this was, I'm tempted to say maybe 20 odd years ago, maybe 25 years ago, the first time it was in that ballpark, because this discussion has been around forever, that you would have a sort of global database.
The evil one.
The one world order, global database. One world order. Tower of Babel. All over again. History repeating itself.
Release is really his final diabolical creation upon the earth, which we would refer to as a one world government that also would include under the umbrella a one world economy, a one world religion. A concept that maybe 20, 30, or even 50 years ago would have seemed out of reach and not realistic to think about, and yet we are living in the very times where the framework for that is being shaped and formed in ways that are even shocking to me.
And you've been warned. It ain't shocking to us, because we warning you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. So you be shocked while we hear the Hebrew Israelites, and like the apostles always say, GMS the only ones who push the MOTB, warning the people. You know, and those in the affiliate brothers and sisters, brothers who teach and give double honors to the apostles. They push what the truth is about the MOTB and what it actually is. You know, everybody else they running from it, don't speak on it. You know, false prophets. A lot of Hebrew Israelites who call themselves Israelites in these other camps, they false prophets, man. Why? Because they ain't one of the most important uh tasks to pass at hand, which is that MOTB. because we all gonna be forced to take it. We all gonna be have to face that temptation, you know. And you need to know what it is so you can stay locked in and refuse it. Why? Because hey man, the Lord got us. And the end of this place is the Lord's kingdom. But when you telling your people, oh, the end can come in another 20 years, another 1,000 years, you rocking the people back to sleep. So they ain't gonna be looking for. They gonna see the MOT and be like, nah, this ain't no market to be. The bishop said it's gonna be here another 20 years. Sakari, whatever that nigga name, Gorilla said it could be another 1,000 years. We don't know, you know. So you rocking the people back to sleep, man. You know, not warning them of the evil day that's at hand. We ain't got no another 20 fucking 1,000 years in this bitch, man. I mean, 20 years or 1,000 years. 20 years of stretch. 1,000 years just it's fucking insane. You know, 5 years is a stretch. In the time with 2025, you know this truth. You know the prophecies, and you looking 10 years down the line like we gonna still be here in another 10 years. No, man, this place is through, man. You know. If you're a Hebrew Israelite in this time, we living day for day. Get what we can get today, and tomorrow all hell can be breaking loose. Or later on today, all hell can be breaking loose. In the morning, all hell can be breaking loose. We never know when it's gonna come. All we can do is continue to push, watch, and pray that the Lord keep us from all these things, and we be granted the sure mercy today, because we in the time of the destruction and the coming of our Lord. But let's get into this question I asked: what is digital ID? I asked ChatGPT this. It say a digital ID is an electronic version of a person's ID that can be used to prove who you are online or in digital systems. In the I'm gonna reread that. It say a digital ID is um an electronic version of a person's identity that can be used to prove who you are online or in digital system. It's not the world going digital, you know. So it ain't saying it's an actual card or it's an app, but no, it's saying it ain't telling you what it is. It's just telling you it's something that can prove who you are in the digital system. And what's that thing gonna be that can prove who you are in the digital system? Is eventually they gonna implement and enforce that CHI to the P, the RFI to the RFI to the D, the NF to the motherfucking C, the near field communication or the radio frequency or radio I or if radio frequency or if I a radio frequency identification device. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's a instead of showing a physical document like a driver's license or a passport, a digital ID uses electronic um, credentials stored into a device, stored on devices such as a smartphone, computer, or even biometric data. It say it usually includes personal information, name, date of birth date, address, ID number, credentials, use username, password, PIN, uh, no, maybe what how to say that? Cryptograph, cryptographic keys or biometric like fingerprints and face scan or the C hip. It say verifications a trusted authority such as a a government, bank, or organization that confirms your identity. Common use of digital IDs, government services, accessing tax records, health service, and voting portals. Say finance, online banking, digital wallets, secure payments, travel, digital passports, boarding passes, and that's another thing. If you ain't got that C-hip in your hand, you ain't gonna be able to jump on a train or a plane, you know, or a boat or some shit. You ain't gonna be able to go on no damn cruise without that seat to the hip, you know. Everyday life is say logging into apps, verifying pass, verifying age, um, signing electric documents, and what they gonna be able to do? You gonna be able to hold your fucking hand up. That motherfucker gonna scan that C to the hip through your hand, just like if you put your hand to the phone. I mean, you put your phone by your wallet and watch what it do. That motherfucker gonna detect that RFID in your card. You know, I ain't got my wallet, but I do it. I might have. Let me see if I got my wallet. Just to prove a point. I don't think I got it in here. Dang. And it's the same thing it's gonna do. That's how you gonna access your different. Uh, that's how you gonna access your different. Uh, apps and shit in the coming future. You gonna have to scan that thing. So like it, let me goddamn. I just want to prove a point. Cause this same technology they want to put in you, man, in a way. Same way you tap and pay and all that shit. Like, man, fuck my wallet. Damn, I don't see my card. Fuck, like, damn, so I don't see that motherfucker. Damn, I wanted to find that mother because it showed up. And that's something new that the phone started doing. The phone ain't been doing it. What I'm trying to get it to do. That ain't something that it been doing. When you hold your phone, this new shit. And I don't know if all phones do it. I know the iPhone do it though. I don't know about a Android and stuff like that. Like, dang, I don't know where my wallet is. Well, I can't prove that. But you got a phone. You put your phone by your car and see what it do. You know that you got your. Oh, here you go. Damn, I walked out past. I ain't got no cord in there. Nah, it ain't doing it. Maybe it'll be just my Apple Cash App card, and I ain't got it in there. But when you hold your card by the thing, it'll say NFC detected or some shit like that. And I don't know what my Cash App card is. You put your phone by your wallet, it'll say NFC detected. But it don't matter. You just hold your phone back. I think it'd be my Cash App card that'd be detected. But they all the same because they got them chips in them. But it ain't working with my regular bank card. But that Cash App card, when it's in my wallet and I put my phone by my wallet, it'll run it and say NFC uh detected nearby or some shit like that. But it don't matter. Let's keep going in this. It say benefits, fast, more convenient verification. That's what we've been telling you. What's the purpose of that? They see here it's gonna be faster and more convenient way of verifying shit. You know, it say can reduce fraud when secured properly. It say make it easier to access services online. Cause you're gonna be able to hold your hand up and go, you know, instead of facial recognition, it'll just automatically sense it while you holding your phone, you know, or some shit. It say, would you like me to give more examples of what digital ID systems currently being used, like in the U.S. or in other countries? I said, could the microchip be a form of digital identity? And they say, thought for a few seconds. Short answer, yes. A micro C-hip, usually an RFID or NFC, can act as a form of digital identification. But there are important technical, security, and ethical caveats. You know, it's a how how it can work. It's a typical ID micro C hips are small RFID slash NFC tags, and that's what's up in your Cash App card, that NFC thing, and it'll pop up on your phone when you put your phone close by. Glass encapsulated, implanted under the skin. It's a passive versus active ID. Most passive versus active. Most ID implants are passive, no batteries. It say they respond when a reader emits a field. Active device with power can transmit on their own, but are larger. It say what they store. It say often a unique ID number or a cryptographic key. And then they say that then they say that somewhere up there, a cryptographic key. That's what the credentials. It's a username, password, PIN, cryptographic keys, or biometric like fingerprints or face scans, or what a digital ID is. You know, I asked what a digital ID is, and then say usually includes personal information, name, date of birth, address, ID number, credentials, username, password, PIN number, cryptographic ID, cryptographic key. And when you jump down here to what the RFID is, say a cryptographic key. It say what it say what they store. What do the micro C hip store? It say often a unique ID number or a cryptographic key that That ID either directly identify you if accepted by a system or is used as a lookup key to a record in a remote database. It's a authentication. Strong systems use challenge response cryptographic. The CHIP proves possession of a secret key rather than just broadcasting static a stat a static identifier. It's a realistic use. Access control, doors, companies, badges, and a lot of the man. If you look at a lot of these newer apartments and shit, you go to them, you try to get in them, you gotta goddamn. They look all futuristic. You see yourself, in 4K damn near. You gotta put in the code, try to call motherfucker to get in, and you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure brothers done been to them different high level futuristic damn near apartments. More wealthy apartments or buildings. Instead of you doing all that, you're gonna be able to go to them different things and just stick your hand up. You want to get into the gate of the apartment, stick your hand up. You know, it's a payment or realistic use for what? The RFID payment or transmit a transit passes. So you can make payments with the CHIP. And the IUIC was making fun of making payments with the CHIP. And what can you do with it? This is one of the realistic uses of the RFID CHIP implanted up in somebody. Payments or transit passes. The CHIP stores uh the chip stores or reference payment credentials, medical records, linkage, emergency access to healthcare data. So if motherfucker non-responsive and they got that, you know, NFC RFID subdermal device within them, nobody need to know who they are or what their medical records is because they gonna be able to scan them and they gonna know everything about the person. He ain't got to say shit no more. He can be as incoherent. Let me stop. As he want to be, man. I think that's the word you'll use. But I'm gonna skip down to the point because I'm gonna close at this point. You know, bottom line. It's a bottom line. A micro C hip can serve as a digital ID component. It's a and is already used that way in limited context, but is not a magical solution and must be designed with security, privacy, medical safety, and constant and consent in mind. And these motherfuckers don't give a damn about that. You heard me? They don't give a damn about no damn uh, privacy and health and making sure that everything's. They don't care. The scriptures say you're gonna get a grievous sore if you receive it. You know, your privacy is gonna be invaded. You know, you're gonna be deceived into taking it and thinking, oh, they ain't gonna track me, they ain't gonna trace me, they ain't gonna do this, they ain't gonna do that, and the next thing you know, you a fucking a damn slave, man, on a social credit score. Get out of line, your whole chip gets shut off for bad behavior, man. You know, but hey, we near the end day. We in the last days, and we near that MOT be being implemented throughout the earth, which is that subdermal device, what they plan on putting underneath your skin, which we just got through reading about. That digital ID is coming. And the C-HIP is a form of digital ID. They don't tell you, they keep hollering digital ID this, digital ID that, but they ain't told your ass one time what the fuck what is the digital ID gonna be? And we know what it's gonna be. I just told you. So with that, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I want to end it giving all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Hakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, rule having the greatest example younger brothers in the truth. Peace and blessings to the hopeful lake. Shalom. Kwame Yashala and the Baba. Shalom.